Secretary, good to see you. I wanted to follow up our ongoing conversation about the lease negotiations. I know you're in constructive dialogue with the governor and his administration. I want to just sort of set the tone here and make sure we're on the same page, at least conceptually. Obviously, deals have to be negotiated, but I think the first thing is, do you want a deal with the state government done in a collaborative fashion?
Unequivocally, Senator.
Okay. And there are a couple of things that are happening right now. First of all, I think a deal is possible. I want to say that. But the state of Hawaii, up until now, has provided state lands for Army training for free. And that's just not a reasonable deal. And so it's true that the Department of War, the Department of the Army, has a legal right to adversely condemn property that they deem in the national security interests of the United States. That is the kind of thing that sounds easy in Washington and would create lots of difficulty back home, because what we have underlying this relationship is a cooperative attitude between state government, county government, and the federal government in this instance. And there are very few instances of the Army or the Department of War condemning state property. It happened in New York, it happened in Puerto Rico. In both instances, those are moments in history, and they're not good ones, right? And they weren't good for the Department of War. And so I would just like to hear from you that you'd like to avoid that outcome of adverse condemnation. Not that you take it off the table. I know that you don't want to take anything off the table when we're still in a negotiation, but I'd like to hear that that's not where you're sort of barreling towards.
Happy to, Senator. I first always try to say this, and I mean it very sincerely. If you talk to any soldier, and I'm sure General Laniv could echo this, who has been stationed in Hawaii with their families, they get embraced by that community unlike almost anywhere else our soldiers go. It's one of the most requested places, not just because it's beautiful, but because the community is so good to them. And that trust and relationships takes decades to build up. And so we are incredibly grateful. The second one is I don't want to underestimate the importance of that training land for our national security and how important it is for the Indo-Pacific. When we reference Alaska and how important it is for our soldiers to get to train there, the triple canopy that 25th ID gets to do impacts how we create our TTPs and will make us stronger in the future. But to your specific question, Senator, the governor's team, your federal delegation have advocated incredibly tirelessly for the people of Hawaii. We want to come to the most fair resolution as quickly as possible so that we can continue to maintain the relationship with the community and have this national security asset.
Okay, in the interest of continuing the negotiation, but as we say, hard on the issues, easy on each other, I want to just flag a couple of issues. First, there's sort of chatter about a provision in the House mark of the Defense Authorization Bill. And I think that is very likely unwise, because we're talking about one chamber, one party. And if we're going to do anything with the Hawaii Congressional Delegation, we've got 2 defense appropriators and 2 defense authorizers. We should all be in the room and know what the heck is being contemplated as ledge text is being sort of transmitted back and forth. And if it's not, then we should know that that's not what's happening. That's number one. Number two is, as we think about the remuneration to the state government, right? It's a lease. You got a lessee and a lessor, and the lessor should get something for the lease. You agree with that. Now we have to talk about the details. It's just important to not move anything to the left on the MILCON list, on the unfunded priorities list. So think of this as a proper community benefits package. As you know, I've been on this committee for a while now, and I'm happy to advocate for increased defense spending generally, Army spending in particular, in the state of Hawaii. However, when you're talking about a lease negotiation, like us doing MILCON and moving it to the left, or buying down the UFR list, is not going to be something that we can honestly convey is a community benefits package. So as we're contemplating how to make the community whole and maintain that level of cooperation. There's some people who believe the Department of Defense just doesn't belong in the state of Hawaii. Those people will never be satisfied. There are some people who think that the Department of Defense should not give anything to the state of Hawaii. Those people will never be satisfied. But the middle wants a fair deal, and that fair deal would not include just increased Army spending on Army stuff, but rather a kind of compensation for the ability to use the lands at PTA, and PMRF, and elsewhere. Thank you.